Hey, welcome back to Wolf Den Hobbies. Today, we face our biggest fear. All right, so this is the conclusion of the Stan Lee paint up. This is episode 3, the final chapter of this wonderful trilogy that is painting Stan Lee. Now, in this episode, we are painting his face and his skin and his hair and his fabulous mustache and his cool glasses. I mean, if you talk about an older gentleman with tons of swag, you are talking about Stan the Man Lee. Now, in this video, I'm going to take you through how I painted his face. This is something I really haven't done too much of before, especially on this scale, so it had its challenges. But before we dive into that, I do have a clip in the beginning and the end of the painting video from Stan Lee's keynote speech in 2017 graduation ceremony. Now, I got this clip from the UCLA extension, and it's just, there's a lot of great stuff in it. And as always, I will put a link in the description so you can go and watch this. It's a really good watch. So, I guess without further ado, it's time to have our face-off!
And I saw a fly crawling on the wall. And I said, hey, if I could get a superhero that could stick to walls and crawl on them, man, that would be cool. And no, I'm lying to you. I don't think the word cool was in use then. I probably said it'll be groovy. I'll never lie to you. So I thought that was good. Now I needed a name. So I said, well, let's see, Fly Man, Mosquito Man. I got down to Spider-Man. Spider-Man. It just sounded dramatic. So, okay, I had my hero, I had his power, his name, and then I figured just for fun, I'm going to give him personal problems, because except for you people who are that your lives are perfect, but most other people have personal problems.
It's face time. Time to paint the face. Now, we're going to do this with something amazing I picked up from my local hobby store. Shout out to Chuck's Comics. Anyway, it's a box set of flesh and skin tones from AK. It's amazing. I was like, I'm going to get this box. I'm going to paint Stan Lee's face up to the same quality that's on the box because of these amazing paints. This is going to be awesome. And to my surprise, it looks nothing like any of the faces on the box. But you know what? At the end of the day, it still looks pretty damn good, and I'm happy with it. So, take that, AK box skin tone pictures. So anyway, what we're doing is we're taking these skin tones from darkest to lightest on the wet palette with some thinner medium to thin them out, and we're gonna build up color from darkest to lightest. Also, I'm using my wet palette so I can make some blends between colors as well. This way I can set up my different tones to eventually get up to the highlight color. If you don't have a wet palette, I would suggest getting a wet palette. Wet palettes are a lot of fun, and they can definitely take your painting to the next level. And you really don't have to pay an arm and a leg for them. You could make your own wet palette with some parchment paper and a sponge and one of those containers. Preferably not the ones that you've had spaghetti in for, how many times of having leftovers and it's permanently stained for the rest of its life into eternity. Yeah, just buy a new clean one for it, and that would be perfectly fine. But it's still a cheap alternative. So now with this light tone, I'm just going over the face. I'm keeping the darker tone in the deepest shadows. This way it gives his face a little bit of depth. And now we're just going to keep working. We're going to work up to the next color. Okay, so we have some good blends down. Now we're going to come in with our lightest color and we're going to highlight, you know, some of the key features of his face, some of the things that pop out, like his nose, you know, his forehead, stuff like that. And we're going to do that with the lightest color. I mean, like I said in the other videos, there's not really a set light source, so I'm just kind of creating magic. So we'll go with that. I like that. Creating magic. Huh, has a nice ring to it. We're just going to go through and we're going to continue highlighting. Okay, so now we're going to come in with some white. We have his mustache and his hair to paint. Both are very key factors of his face because, well, he has a pretty gnarly mustache and he has some, you know, peppery kind of hair. And I got to kind of find a way to make it look somewhat like that. We're going to come in with our golden white, titanium white, and we're going to carefully paint his mustache. Try to make sure that we didn't get any on his face. And then we're going to paint his hair. Now, one of the cool things that I learned is when you're painting faces, come in with a red tone and kind of make it seem like there's some blood flowing. Now, I tried my best and it kind of made him look like he was blushing a little bit, like, you know, like he's never seen a wolf man before, kind of, I don't know. But I had to tone it down just a little bit because he was getting a little blushy. But you just come in with some very thin red and you just glaze it in to wherever you want it. If you're painting, you know, someone that you want super rosy cheeks, you can do multiple layers to build that up. That's perfectly fine. If you don't, take it from me, don't do that many coats. It's okay though, we fixed it. Now we're going to paint his glasses. This was a real treat, trying to paint black on his glasses and not get it all over his face. That's always fun. Keynote, make sure you have a nice tip on your brush for this. Also, when I picked up the AK paint set, I also found this crystal orange from MIG, and I'm like, huh, this is kind of crazy considering the fact that I had one singular orange paint in my whole collection. That day, I think I bought multiple oranges. Now I have a bunch. And we're gonna come in and we're gonna load up our brush and we're gonna paint the top and kind of let the paint settle towards the bottom. So you have this gradient from light to dark. Next, we're going to come in with some gloss varnish, and we're going to paint all over his face and his hair. Now, I'm doing this because the next step, I'm trying something else new with his hair to try to get an effect, which, you know, I rolled a dice, and I'm like, okay, on a 1 to 3, I'm not doing this. On a 4 to 6, I'm doing it, and I got a 4. So we went with it. Just as always, make sure you keep moving this varnish around. You don't want to sit in one place and then you get all that weird hazing and stuff. That's no fun. Okay, now we're going to come in with some Apothecary white. And we are going to salt and pepper his hair. In essence, that's what we're doing. We're using it like kind of like a wash to grade tint and salt and pepper his hair. It was a shot in the dark, and honestly, it looked pretty freaking awesome. So there it is. We just have some decals to put on that I did off camera, and honestly, he's done. He's looking phenomenal, and he is ready to go to his new home. So I have one more short clip for you from Stan Lee, and then I'll see you back at the hobby desk.
If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. that doesn't mean that every wild notion you come up with is going to be genius. But if there is something that you feel is good, something you want to do, something that means something to you, try to do it. Because I think you can only do your best work if you're doing what you want to do, and if you're doing it the way you think it should be done, and if you can take pride in it after you've done it, no matter what it is. If you can look at it and say, I did that, and I think it's pretty damn good. That's a great feeling. So don't let idiots talk you out of something that you think is good. By the same token, that doesn't mean every single thing you think is good is going to win a prize. Got to have a little judgment there.
So, with that, this concludes the Stanley Paint Up video. And I really hope you enjoyed these videos as much as I enjoyed making them. On the flip side, the person that this statue belongs to, I really hope he enjoys it as well. Because this man, let me tell you, has an amazing statue collection. He is a huge comic book fan. And I am truly, truly honored to have something I painted be a part of this man's collection. So that is totally awesome. Now, just wanted to touch on something quick. The clip that I added from Stanley's keynote speech at the end of the painting video really holds true to the hobby. And the reason why I added it is if any of you are on the fence and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do it, or I'm not good enough. Look, don't let anybody talk you out of it. You know, as long as you keep practicing and you try hard and you're passionate about something, you can do anything that you want to do. Wow, kind of got a little Blues Cluesy there. Anyway, so with that being said, until next time, I'll see you at the hobby desk.